I really only have three things that I want to talk about today. In particular, I want to talk about team members staying in the loop as much as possible so that they're up to date. Not easy to do, simply because there's so many different ways of keeping in the loop. Watching the meeting recordings is one way, participating in Skype is another way, and coming to these meetings is another way. The advantage of coming to the meetings is that you get to have your say. The same as Skype, you get to have your say. Checking out the troubleshooting page is another way. Checking out the JIRAs is another way. Yeah, well, we don't expect you to be up to the minute, Kim. But it is important that people stay up to date. Otherwise, how accurate can you be? Comments, questions about that one? Oh, yeah, it's not easy. Well, yeah, but you know, I want it on the record as basically what I want. Okay, because in reality, it reflects on all of us. And I think I've said it before. You're all important, you know, and it's not easy. If we admit that we make our mistakes, then we make our mistakes. We all make them. At least I do. I thought I saw XL on voice for a minute there. So yeah, just, you know, let's try to keep up to date and do what we can. How many here are not on Skype?
Well, actually, I'm not. I mean, I am in the chat, sort of, but I haven't used it for ages.
Okay, Anita, contact me. Or IM me with your Skype name and I'll get you added. Yep, and if you don't have access to the Linden Lab Jira, you'll have to bug Jess in Skype, or Skype's your best bet to get a hold of Jess. And she'll get you access to the Jira, Linden Lab Jira as well. The next thing that I want to mention is for those of you that are not in Skype, you won't have known this. This has not been announced yet, so treat this as confidential information, not to go beyond the team. The current plan from Linden Lab is to roll SSA out grid-wide next week. So there's going to be lots of, I see gray people, there's going to be lots of, what's this, what's that? Just so you're forewarned. No, what you need now, Norton, is you need one that's just all gray, you know. Probably just be in the deploys thread, Willow. I wouldn't count on any more than that. LO is not great at communicating from what I've seen. And yay, XL, you should have voice now. Yep. And there's Tara back as well. So, yeah, server side appearance coming next week. Keep it within ourselves.
Tuesday or Wednesday? Or was it
both?
Tuesday? Right.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Roll to the main grid on Tuesday, and then it'll be out on the all three RCs on Wednesday. It'll be grid-wide next week, XL, although it's not public knowledge, and it's not meant to be until Linden Lab actually announces it. So be prepared. Yeah. Well, quite frankly, from what I've been seeing on this SSA regions, it's running quite well. I've been suitably impressed and rather impatient to see it grid-wide, actually. It'll be server-side appearance will be grid-wide next week. As of Tuesday, it'll be rolled out to the main channel. As of Wednesday, it will be rolled out to the remaining RCs. So it'll be grid-wide. We've been seeing issues with people moving from an SSA region, which is only on Magnum this week, to a non-SSA region and vice versa. Well, frankly, there's not much we can do to help with the Phoenix people, or people that remain on non-SSA viewers. There's nothing we can do to help them. There really isn't. There's no real option. There's a couple of bugs, XL. But nothing major, really. Less issues than we find on a non-SSA regions with bake fail. Put it that way. So there should be less issues depending on the viewer that they are using. Yeah, well, that's another ball of wax altogether, and I'm sure that will come up at our next Q&A session. Which leads me into our next topic. I keep remembering things I wanted to talk about. Open Q&A sessions, Saturday, September 14th, 8 a.m. We will be having our first of our bi-weekly open Q&A sessions. We'll hold them in the auditorium where the office hours were. That's okay, Blue. You know, you don't have to be there. We decided on a Saturday because it was the best day for most people. It's not the best day for everybody. We understand that. So the 14th at 8 a.m. we'll have our first one. So second Saturday of the month. Here's the way it's going to work. Second Saturday of every month, we will have one in the morning, 8 a.m. SL time. And the time may change to 9 a.m. We'll figure it out. Okay. The fourth Saturday of every month, we will have it at a time yet to be determined, somewhere between 1 and 4 p.m. SLT. So we'll be doing, once a month we'll do one in the morning, and once a month we'll do one in the afternoon. That should cover the majority of the time zones. Yep. My personal feeling is, 1 or 2 p.m. would be the best. Peak time in Second Life is 3 or 4 p.m. And that's usually when there's more events going on. So we'll probably wind up going with 1 p.m. That way there's a 5-hour difference between the two. All right, so now I'm going to need some input. Are you ready for our next topic? I want to clean up this page. And I'll start with I'll start at the top of the nominations. Blue, that one's up to you. If they're helping out in Dutch, that's your call. It's your group. You deal with it. He disappeared? Okay. Okie dokie. Has anybody seen LT around much? That's the next one. Yeah, I've only been seeing him occasionally. So I think we can eliminate LT as well, which is too bad because when he was active, he was quite good. What about the next one? Deathstalker Blackheart. Alrighty, there's another one off the list. What about Hornblower? Same with Hornblower? Yeah, I haven't seen Hornblower around at all. Alright, so what about Very Vicky? She's been coming out to the classes and catching up a little more too, so I happen to agree. I think she's a good one to keep on the list. Keep an eye on her. Synthos or Altair Memo. That one doesn't surprise me. I think Altair can be gone as well. Unless, of course, the Italian team wants to pick him up. If he helps out on the Italian team, that's up to them. Okay.
Yeah, he was one of those who just inquires about being on support and then never actually does what he's told needs to be done to be considered for support, which is, be active. So he completely disappeared after inquiring into it. So I have never heard or seen from him since that one day that he asked about it.
I saw him for about 3 or 4 days trying to help out.
Yeah, he was probably disappointed with the amount of recognition you get until, you've been around for a few months.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to an interesting one, and that's Nilla.
She gets snarkier all the time, as far as I can tell. She's not getting better, she's getting worse. But I am happy to hear other opinions.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what other people say about Nilla, honestly. Alrighty. So, I quite honestly, my personal opinion is Nilla's gone. That's my personal opinion. I'd take her off the list unless her attitude improves.
I'm fine with that. She can always get put back on later if for some reason she's a completely different person.
Alright, so now I'm going to stir up a little bit of controversy with my first statement. Nobody get too excited. Anastasia Horngold is being removed from the list. Because she's going to be joining us.
She's been cautioned to take advantage of her last few days of freedom. She'll be brought on Sunday.
You were all starting to wonder what the hell was wrong with Ed saying Anastasia was gone, eh?
I've never heard of her at all. No knowledge of that name whatsoever.
She's quite good. She spends a lot of time and she's really good. So, and which brings us to the end of the list. I think it's the end of the list, and that's Amaya Summer. Cool. Well, that certainly pared the list down a lot, didn't it? Yeah, she's coming out to a lot of the classes. She's actually working on a scheme for the vision impaired, a skin scheme for the vision impaired. Well, I know a little bit more about Amaya than most of you do. She's only been using Firestorm for 2 months. So she's definitely proven to me that she doesn't fall into a stupid category. She wants to learn.
I like Lila's idea.
Yeah, I've actually recommended that to a few people that come out to the classes. That, you might want to do this. You might want to join the support or join the beta testers. It gives us a better idea of what they're really like than just watching them in FSC, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I think we should definitely do that.
Lorena's sweet. She's definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer by a long shot, but damn, I'll take 6 of her over a bright user with a bad attitude. Matter of fact, I'd take a couple dozen of her over some of the other users we got. Well, I don't spend too much time in there or the preview group, to be honest. I got enough on my plate and want to spend some time enjoying my SL.
I think the point about Jira is enough to do what Willow was suggesting.
Yeah. And she does follow directions once she understands them. Sorry,
Once
Lorraine.
they are,
Yeah.
once they're explained in as small steps as possible, she'll understand them and she'll follow them. Oh, she is very ditzy.
But, you know. Yeah. I swear she doesn't have a malicious bone in her body.
She just requires a lot of patience.
Cool, Excel.
Are they active in FSC already?
Well, throw them up because
That way we can watch them as well.
we've been watching Anastasia for how long?
Months, I guess. I didn't realize it was that long because our schedules don't connect.
Yeah, so, you know, we don't pull people in quickly. So, throw their name up, Excel. And if you need help getting it up on the wiki, talk to Miro. He's probably the best person.
And also, I'm not sure what you consider to be mentoring. It's awesome if you're, encouraging people to, be active in the group, but hopefully not by explicitly telling them that you're trying to get them on the team. That would be troublesome if they turn out not to be good candidates.
I actually know Dark Chaos. I've known Dark for a long time.
Yeah, Bao is about half and half when it comes to being right and being wrong. But yeah, and to expand on what I was saying, also, it's always kind of been guideline when it comes to support nominations that people who are being considered for support not get told that until they're actually asked on the team. Otherwise, there's too much likelihood that they're going to be motivated for reasons other than we want them to be. People should be motivated strictly because they want to help and not because they eventually want to be on the team. So while it's great to be encouraging of people to help, and it's always great to say to active helpers, thank you so much for answering these questions. Let's just be careful to be very, to stop with the complimenting before it becomes, I'm telling you this because, of how we recruit for the team, because that's not a good way to go about it.
I mean, frankly, anybody that inquires with me, I've got no problem with Dark personally. Okay, I've known Dark for quite some time, but I always tell them the same thing. Anybody that inquires, sorry, you've got one strike against you already. That's why I sort of laughed at the Synthos and Altair one. Okay, because when we were first asked, we knew that he was going to disappear. Dark talks an awful lot. But he is a previous mentor. He's not stupid. But my standard response is help out in the group, and learn, I'd also recommend that they come out to the classes, XL. That's a good way for people to pick up on things.
Really good way. And by the way, the nominations list is more of a watch list than an active nominations list. I mean, you just saw how many people got taken off. So it's never too early to put somebody up if you think they've got potential. And then we've got, one person who's about to be on support and two who are staying there because we're watching them. And we want a couple more months for them to bake, or, so to speak.
Well, okay. Here's a secret, XL. Lyndall's on my personal watch list. Lyndall helps out an awful lot on the forums, and definitely knows her stuff. But whether she's going to have the time, that's another story altogether, right? I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I spend a lot of time doing support-related things. And yeah, I do consider classes being support-related. Yep, I've noticed that actually. Rolla Gloon's another one that is really good on the forums that I've noticed a couple times lately in our group. Very well informed Second Life users. Rollig Loon, R-O-L-L-I-G, Loon, L.
Oh, she was on the list for a while, but she's not. She only comes in every once in a while. Yeah. She's very helpful when she's actually in the group, but she's not in often. Sorry.
Yeah, both her and Lyndall are probably two of the most active people on the SL forums. At least in the answers section. So yeah, if you've got nominations, get them up on the nominations page. If there's anybody you think bears watching for any reason, folks, get them up on the page, because they're not going to be picked right away. I mean, we've had Amaya. When did Amaya go up on there? A month ago?
I think about that.
Yep, almost exactly a month ago. And, okay, another funny story. I've had my eye on her since before then. But I can guarantee you that it's going to be at least another 3 months before, well, at least another 2 months before she gets a serious consideration. Because, sorry folks, you've all been on the team long enough now that you've seen people come and go. And, well, you're just too damn hard to replace, folks. No, we don't want that to happen. We don't want people being added to the team and all of a sudden being able to see the page where they're being named as a target or a victim. Not until we actually get them over their probation anyhow. Alright, so the only other thing I want to bring up is my normal, every week, I say it over and over and over again, and it doesn't make it any less true. You all make a huge difference to our users. So please remember to watch for the signs of burnout. As soon as a user starts getting to you, walk away, take a break, go kill something, go kill zombies, whatever it takes. Although do that in Second Life. I don't want you going to jail in RL. I don't want you killing your neighbor or anything, you know. Yeah,
What
take
if
breaks,
your neighbors
folks.
are zombies?
Oh, in real life? In that case, you've got a real problem. I have to talk to, you'll have to talk to, somebody would have to talk to Shri about that. It's her group. It's hands off. It's not an official group. All I can say is, go Baker, go. Baker's still working on the code for the group ban list. What did I read? Too bad Worley's not here. I read it someplace in dev chat. Maybe somebody remembers. There was a discussion about what Baker was saying. He was still a couple weeks away from getting anything out on a repo. Yeah, so I've got my fingers crossed. I'm not holding my breath, but I've got my fingers crossed that maybe within a month we'll have something from Baker that we can actually use. I'm actually hoping that before the next release comes out, we'll have something. I didn't like the room with the soft walls. Well, the room with the soft walls wasn't bad, but that jacket that they put me in, it was just too tight. Yeah, I'm actually quite hopeful. All right, so anything anybody here wants to bring up? It's up to you all now, folks. You got something you want to talk about? Let's talk about it. I've already eaten up more time in the meeting than I wanted to. Well, we're all happy campers? Oh, Mister's got something to say. That's the two groups at the top of my list, actually. My top tabs. It's a good point, Mister. It really is. You've been watching too many videos, Blue. Actually, Blue was referring to a comedy skit by what's his name, Gifford. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'd have to look. That he does about camping. It's rather funny. Yeah, Robert Giffen or some silly Gifford or some silly thing like that. I'd have to look his name up. I'm sure Blue could find it faster than me. I'm pretty sure she's got those YouTube channels bookmarked. Skype is one of the easiest ways to keep up to date with what's going on, Excel. It really is. There's announcements. There's actually two separate rooms that you'd be in. One's the dev chat and the other one's the announce chat. The announce chat is just for announcements. There's not supposed to be any chattering going on in there. Anything really important comes out and announce. Yeah, announce isn't that busy. Announce maybe gets a dozen messages in a week, unless people accidentally answer in announce, which they're not supposed to. It's supposed to be simply little announcements, done, deal. Like the one that was posted earlier about SSA. Yeah, well, we've rectified that. Took a big tuna, but it worked. But they're a good place to get help. A lot of times. Not always, because sometimes you don't get an answer. So, for the most part, things that get thrown up and announced come out in FST as well. But the whole thing about Skype is it's a way to keep current and know what's coming in down the pipeline. That's the biggest thing about it. And Anita, I will get you added after this meeting. I'll send you a friend's request when we get done here. And then I'll get you added. Yeah, a lot of times the important ones do get thrown out in there. Like there was I threw an announcement and announced that the support meeting was about to start. I did it here as well. A lot of times things do get reposted in the team group. Not always, because somebody thinks somebody else will do it, you know. Quite frankly, you could open up, if you had Skype and you opened it up once a week, you could be kept up to date with anything that was super important, really. Well, twice a week.
Well, that's if you manage to filter out all the useless stuff from those 7,000 lines.
Well, he's referring specifically to announce.
Yeah, I'm specifically referring to announce.
Oh, okay.
There you go. There's the link to. That's probably the camping one. Okay, are you on my list, XL? Oh, that's the bacon one? Yeah. Okay. I'll look you up and I'll get you an invite to announce. Just remember, it's not for responding to things. You get the idea. Okay. Alrighty. So anything else, folks? Oh, Norton. Sure, Beth. Well, sadly, I don't speak any of those other languages. You got somebody willing to do the translation? Or are you willing to host a Q&A yourself? Welcome to my life. I mean, frankly, I'd be willing to show up and I'd be willing to show up and wear a translator for anything that was in text. But me typing it, well, you know what my typing's like. You all know what my typing's like. It'd be a very long session if I was actually typing the answers out.
And translators are shitty anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got my way. I've got my way of dealing with the translators by keeping my language pretty simple. But yeah, if you want to do a Q&A, it's no problem. The problem is, you know, if you don't know the answer, getting the answer from somebody who doesn't speak Portuguese. Well, like I said, if you want to set something up that doesn't conflict with the classes or my schedule, my RL and SL schedule, I'd be quite willing to show up. And if you can give me enough notice, I can usually juggle things around. So if you want to, go for it. I'll give you all the help I can. Yeah, as long as you don't get technical with them and you keep it to simple words, you're usually at least understandable.
Clickety-click and mouse wheel scroll. Babe, you showed up just in time for the end.
I did what I could, babe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay, Sunset. You already missed my thank you for everything you do. So, but you hear it every week anyhow, right?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, in that case, y'all take care. Stay out of trouble. That does not mean don't have fun. It simply means don't get caught having fun, because if you don't get caught, you're not in trouble. You should all know that by now. No TPV today, not until next week. Kim, my grandfather told me that when I was quite young, actually. So I can't claim credit for that. My father was not impressed when my grandfather told me that, but that's beside the point. All right, I'm out of here, folks. Thank you again. And we will catch you later. Okay, XL. If I don't send you an invite within an hour, poke me on Skype, okay? And with that, I go poof.
He goes poof. Well, that's a shame. Bye. I think Norton dozed off from the chair.